All right, what's up? Good morning. Peace and blessings. Should I say more correctly, grand rising? I really don't like to say good morning because there's no such thing as a good morning. Peace and blessings to everybody. Sunday. What is the time? Is this about going on 10 o'clock? I'm out here in the city of Northwest Side Park getting some sun. You know, if we as the people had the same spirit of our ancestors, to be independent, self sufficient, self reliant, pull our resources together, and do what we need to do for ourselves, create and establish the things that we need to create and establish for ourselves. It really wouldn't matter if the Smithsonian Institute stopped, changed, or displaying our story. It wouldn't matter if they decided we no longer need a Black History Month. It really wouldn't matter if they decided we don't need a Juneteenth day or a Dr. King's day. None of that would really matter. It wouldn't matter if they decided not to teach our story in the public school systems because, let's be honest, for those of us who understand, right, they haven't been teaching us our story in the public school system. They never did. They gave us a narrative and force fed it to us from one generation to another, which none of it was true. See, some people believe in nation building. When you lay in the foundation of a nation, you don't go to anyone else to help you do it. It's your nation. It's your foundation. It's something that you want to build. It's something that you want to establish for those of you who go to school to get a college degree. You don't send someone else to school to get the degree for you, to do the homework for you, to sit in the classroom for you, to go in financial debt for you. And then when they complete the process successfully and get their degree, then they turn around and come and give it to you. And you reap all the benefits and rewards for it. That's not how that works. You don't have anyone going to work for you unless you're a drug dealer. Putting in 8 hours, 10 hours, 12-hour shifts while you sitting home chilling, going on vacation, getting your hair, your nails done, or, whatever it is that you do. Then at the end of the week, here they come giving you the check for work that you did not do. That's not how that go. If you're not going to put in the work and maintain your culture, you can't get upset when other people come along and decide to say, we no longer want to support this culture, this history. We don't want to finance it anymore. We don't want to fund it anymore. Can't get upset. And for those of you who do get upset, no disrespect intended, but you're being a hypocrite. I wholeheartedly believe in doing for self. So I see these TikTok videos and all these other, videos. Trump is shutting this down, and they're defunding this, and they're trying to take uh, um, the slave narrative out of the public school systems because they don't want their children to know what it is that they've done. They don't want our children to know. The one thing I understand about the ancestors is they didn't allow anyone else to teach their children about them. Knowledge itself came from them, and it was passed down from one generation to the next generation. No one outside came inside to teach their children about them, about themselves. They did that. That was their job. That was their job, their responsibility, their duty, their obligation, and they lived up to it. You got white folks who want to, have a whites only community. So what? That's nothing new. It's nothing new. They want to be amongst themselves, let them be amongst themselves. I repeat, the worst thing that we ever done as a people is integrate. And the research that I've done and the people that I've listened to and what I can recall from myself as a child, the vast majority of Black America wasn't concerned about eating in a restaurant where they knew that they were not welcomed at. They wasn't concerned about going to a school where they would not be welcomed at, swimming in a pool, going to a park, going anywhere, being anywhere where they knew they were not welcomed at. They had no desire, they had no interest. They was comfortable amongst themselves. I don't really know what all it's going to take for people from the so-called Black community to actually really wake up and realize that we are in a time where we are being forced to do two things. Keep going in the direction that we going or was going in, or change course. Some don't want to disrupt the system. Why? Because their whole entire livelihood and lifestyle depend on the system functioning as it does. Those of us who want to be separate and apart from the system want our sovereignty, and to be independent, self-sufficient, self-reliant, to have our own, establish our own, grow our own, build our own, create for ourselves, be what our ancestors used to be or were. Those of us that want that, it's not white people that we have to fight to get that. It's not white people that's stopping us from accomplishing that as a people. I'm not talking about small pockets of us. I'm talking about at least 60, 70% of us. White people are not standing in our way of that. The people that are standing in our way from going in that direction and doing everything that they possibly could do to keep us from going in that direction are Negroes, black folks, black Americans, African Americans, however you want to identify yourself or identify them. They are the ones that's standing in the way of progress of us as people. The reason that they keep pointing the finger at the white man, racism and white supremacy, is so that you don't see them. Oh, they racist and they trying to stop this and they trying to change this and they trying to shut this down. So, why do you need their permission? Why do you need their consent? Why do you need their approval? Why do you need their validation? Why? Why? That's why they keep pointing the finger at racism and white supremacy and Trump and Republicans and racial hate groups. That's why they keep, that's a diversion, it's a deflection, and it's a distraction. Look over there. In the meantime, in between time, I'm looking over that way and over that way, and you the one standing in my way. We wouldn't have to concern ourselves with the National Guard being in the black community if we took ownership of the black community. If we went out and we shut all that crime shit, carjacking, drug dealing, gangbanging shit down. Like black men did back in the 60s and the 70s. And sisters. Like the elders did back in the day, prior to the Black Panthers, prior to the Nation of Islam, and during. Again, I repeat, I recall as a child, if we was out and about doing things we ain't had no business doing, other elders in the community had every right to check us, correct us, chastise us, and whoop our ass, and then call our mothers and fathers and let them know what we did. And once we got home, we got another ass whooping on top of being placed on punishment. Can't go outside for a few days. We wouldn't have to worry about Trump sending in National Guard. And we just stepped up. But no. We can't be bothered with it. You know, that's not my child. Not my children. You go talk to their parents about what's going on with them, you know. We don't believe in it takes a nation or it takes a village to raise a child. We've gotten away from that ideology. We no longer practice that. Like I said before, I'm out here. I catch the bus back and forth to work. I see some of your children on the bus. Some of your children have no respect whatsoever for any of the elders that they're sitting next to. You will have a 15, 16, 17-year-old young boy or girl sitting down, standing right next to him is someone 70, 80 years old. They will make no effort whatsoever to give up that seat. Here you go, sister, you can sit down. Excuse me, ma'am, you can sit down. Excuse me, sir, you can sit down. They will make no such effort. None. And be just as loud and obnoxious and disrespectful as they want to be. Maybe they not acting like that around you, but they certainly act like that when they not around you. $800,000, they say, black women losing their federal jobs or whatever. They educated, they got degrees. I'm sure some of them got a few dollars stashed away for a rainy day. Get together amongst yourselves. Put yourself in a position where you don't need to go to work for anybody else. Establish something and build something for yourself, for your daughters. We have to be mindful that there are a lot of black faces who are nothing more than agents of the system. Nothing more than agents of the system. They are agents, co-conspirators, collaborators, agent provocateurs. This is who they are. That's all they are. Paid. Sellout Negroes. Period. That's all they are. People believe that speaking pro-black, right? And waving the red, black, and green. And talking about racism and white supremacy. They really believe that that means they are for their people. That they're for the betterment and improvement of their people. They want justice for their people. They want freedom for their people. What they call it now, cosplay. You putting on a costume and pretending to be for your people. When in reality, you are against your people. See, it's not the white supremacist that we really need to be concerned about. We know how the white supremacist feels about us. We know how racist people feel about us. We know that. And we know if they had their way, what they would do. Which many of them are acting that shit out. We know that story. We know that. We don't have to guess. We don't have to question. We don't have to wonder. We know how they feel about us. They will never come to us and embrace us as a brother or sister. They would never call us that. They would never refer to us as a brother or sister. They hate us. They can't stand us. But that sellout Negro, you don't see him or her or them until it's too late. And by that time, the damage is already done. The damage that they've caused, you can't undo, at least not right away, because it's already set in stone, it's already done. That's the one that you need to learn to look out for. And if a person was to ask me, well, brother, how do we identify the sellout Negro? How do we identify him? What do you hear them talking about? Racism and white supremacy. That's what you hear them talking about. Racism and white supremacy. Prosperity. Being materialistically or superficially prosperous, successful, established. So-called quote unquote black excellence. Because here's the real definition and meaning behind black excellence. To be passive, to be humble, don't question anything, don't challenge anything, go along with everything, financially, economically, you'll be okay. Like I said in the past, I've heard people say, well, you know what? You got to be careful about who you listen to or who you follow behind, because that person will have you lose everything that you have. And the reality is, this person is speaking from a point of cowardice, right? And false reality. Because the reality is, whenever they decide they no longer want you to have the things that you have, all they got to do is create the conditions and the environment to be able to take your shit from you. Period. And if you paying mortgage and you paying for luxury car notes and buying everything on credit, you really don't have anything at all. It just looks that way. It look like you are successful. It look like you are doing well for yourself. That's what it looks like. But it doesn't matter if you're driving an $80,000 luxury vehicle or if you're driving what we used to call a hoopty. The police see you and decide to pull your ass over. To them, you just another nigga. But some of you have convinced yourselves that you are the epitome of the black community. No, you're not. You are the sellout Negroes of the black community. You are collaborators of the system. And before you allow all of your people, or at least most of your people, to rise, you will conspire with the oppressor to keep us subjugated in the condition that we are currently in right now. Because we are on the losing end. And we have been on the losing end ever since our country has been invaded and taken over by foreigners. We have been on the losing end. And we've got fast-tracked on the losing end when we allowed collaborators to convince us to give up our independence, to give up our sovereignty, to give up the businesses and things that our ancestors created and established through hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, so we can integrate into mainstream America. So we have been on the losing end for quite some time. It just appears as though some of us are winning, chasing after a bag that you don't control. We have to be mindful. Again, all skin folk and kin folk. We have to be mindful that everybody that pretends to want what's in our best interest don't want what's in our best interest. As for Trump, this is what I know. It doesn't matter who the Republican presidential nominee was. To the true blue, die-hard, loyal black Democrat. Didn't matter. It could have been Trump, somebody else. Could have been a sister. They talking about we could have had the first black woman in office. The loyal, true blue, die-hard black Democrat will never vote a black woman who was a Republican into office. They will never support her. Why? Because she's the opposition. So when I hear black Democrats Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, what do I hear? You are mad, you are angry, and you are upset because your party lost. Period. It don't matter who the Republican nominee was. Anybody out of the Republican Party would have been an issue for you. Anybody. Me, for myself, I'm really tired of listening to Negroes who are not going to do a damn thing to push back and fight against racism talk about racism and white supremacy. I'm really sick of it. I'm really sick of it. Especially when your party well, that was then, this is now. Like I said, if you're against racism and white supremacy, it doesn't matter which direction it's coming from. You're against it. Period. Point blank. You don't care if they're wearing red. You don't care if they're wearing blue. You don't care if they are a liberal or conservative or somewhere on the far extremities of either or. If you are against it, you are against it, period. There is no such thing as, well, they all racist, but he's really racist. There is no such thing. Racism is racism, period. Point blank. So if you really are against it, that's the fight that you fight. Again, I repeat, blue or red. Wherever you see it rear its ugly head, you're going to confront that. Don't matter which side of the aisle you're sitting on. You're against it over here, you're against it over here. When you're sincere and you're genuine and it's from your heart and it's from your soul, it's from your spirit, there is no such thing as a little bit of racism or more racism. Just like there is no such thing as the lesser of two evils. That's some of the most dumbest shit that I ever heard in my fucking life. Evil is evil. This much evil is evil. That much evil is evil. Evil is evil. And if you let this evil go unchecked, this evil can turn into this evil. And just in case you say, well, brother, you very judgmental. No, the truth is not judgmental. The truth is the truth. The problem that people have with the truth is it's the truth. And you can't do anything with the truth. Let me turn around for a second. Where's the sun at? Okay. Well, I can't get it on the camera. But you know the sun is up there. The sun does not give a damn whether you think it's too hot outside. It doesn't care. It does not care. It is what it is. It does what it does, and it's going to continue to do what it do for quite some time, well into the future. So how you feel about the sun is irrelevant. Well, this is the truth. Right? This is the truth. The truth does not care about your comfortability. The truth does not care if it agitates you, aggravates you, pisses you off, makes you angry, makes you uncomfortable. It just does not care. It's not judgmental. The truth is not criticism. The truth is not about pointing out someone's flaws and character defects, which we all have. That's not what the truth is about. The truth is about the truth, period. Either you are strong enough to embrace the truth or you are not. It's just that simple. And those who have a problem with people like myself saying what we say, it's not that they have a problem with us. They have a problem with the truth. They can't deal with it. They can't handle it. And because people like myself are speaking the truth and saying very clearly the things that they don't want to hear, they tend to have a problem with us. So to the brothers and sisters that's out there speaking truth to power and dealing with whatever comes along with it, peace and blessings to you. Stand your ground and keep on doing it. Because your message is getting out, it is touching people, and it is changing the minds and the hearts of many of us. A lot of us are waking up. I see video after video after video after video, brothers and sisters, young and old, black and white, and everything in between. Black America are the real owners of this land. We are the American Indian. We are the Aboriginal, or like Brother Malcolm said, the Aborigine of America. We are the foundation. We are the backbone. We are the culture of America. We are the lifeblood of America. We are the breath of America. We are America. And America is us. That's not my personal opinion. That's a fact. I'm seeing video of brothers and sisters all the way from the UK, Ireland, who know who we are, telling us who we are. And I'm sitting there saying, well, damn, the message is going out. It's traveling the globe. The message is spreading. Now, the black faces that you see posting these videos, again, I repeat, once they done with the immigrants, they coming after us. They had to get rid of the immigrants first. So when it's time for them to come after us, there will be no one left to help us fight against them. Now, when you sit down and you think about it, you use your intelligence. Like I said, you step out of your emotions and you step away from your ignorance. And you start to say, well, let me look into this for myself. When you start to look into our story, when we fought, there was no one fighting with us in large number, massive number. When you take a look at your ancestors back during the 50s and 60s, you didn't see anyone other than your ancestor being water hosed, being shot and shot at, being beaten with nightsticks and billy clubs, being chased down by dogs and ravaged by dogs. You didn't see anyone come to their rescue. You see a fringe group of people who support, but when it's time for the actual fight, they ain't nowhere to be found. So the intelligent person will ask the question, well, no one stood with us then, so why would anyone stand with us now? See, that's what the intelligent, independent thinking, free thinking person would say. No one stood with us before. Why would they stand with us now? No, that's fear mongering. That's a tactic that these black collaborators, agent provocateurs, this is fear mongering. And they're going to continue to do it. Why? Because unfortunately, far too many of us, we just plain ignorant. And they got to keep it going. They got to keep it going. They got to keep it going. They got to regurgitate it and regurgitate it and regurgitate it and regurgitate it. Propaganda. Keep repeating it. Keep saying it. Even if it ain't true, keep repeating it. Keep saying it. You ain't going to get everybody, but you will get the fools. The fools will believe it. They're not going after the immigrant community. They're going after people from the immigrant community who did not go through the proper channels to come into the country legally. That's who they're going after. The reason that you have the National Guard coming into the black community is because, well, let's be honest about it. The black community is not in good shape in democratically led cities. It's just not. The schools are failing. Low housing, the crime rate, it went down, but you still have brothers, and sisters doing what they do. You have poverty. Many of your politicians within the black communities, inner city neighborhoods, right, are corrupt as fuck. They're not implementing any policies that's exclusively beneficial for brothers and sisters in the black community. But they are doing that for the illegal migrants. You don't see them taking billions of dollars to improve the school system in black communities. We're going to set up some tech labs so they can compete in the tech industry with children from other communities. That's not what you see. You may see a few people donating a classroom, but a whole school? No, you don't see these politicians demanding that. You don't see these politicians demanding fair housing, affordable housing for low-income brothers. I'm not talking about talking about it. I'm talking about demanding it. And when the vast majority of the city council, along with the mayor's office, are Negroes, who's stopping them? Who's stopping them? So let's be clear. Let's be clear about this. What you see Trump doing, Trump is eliminating a lot of corruption. He's eliminating a lot of corruption and corrupt people. He is also forcing those of us in the black community who are strong enough to be independent, self-sufficient, and self-reliant. He's forcing us to say, okay, we are going to, rather than look towards the system to help us, peace. Rather than look towards the system to help us, we are going to be what our ancestors were, and we are going to establish things for our damn selves. We're not looking for no federal assistance. If we get it, yeah, it's cool, but we're not looking for it. We're not even going to ask for it. We're going to do for self. Well, they shutting down the museum that got our story in it. Okay, well, let's buy a building, rehab the building, and then take that stuff from over here and put it in this building over here, and let's finance it and fund it for ourselves. Why? How could we do that? Well, we got all this black excellence within the black community, don't we? We got all these successful CEOs and COOs and entrepreneurs, don't we? We got all these black congressional people and black senatorial people, don't we? We got all these black mayors and all these black city councils, don't we? We got all these black wealthy entertainers and athletes, multi-millionaires and billionaires, don't we? Sure we do. So what the problem is? What the problem is? What's wrong with us doing this for ourselves? What's wrong with us opening? You have a brother right here in the city of Newark, in the Hooterville section, Velsburg, Bradley Courts. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't have the permission to mention the brother by name, but the brother is very active in that community. A lot of the things that I see him do by himself and with a small group of other brothers and sisters. When I was a kid and we had community centers, everybody in the neighborhood was involved. It wasn't just a couple of brothers and a couple of sisters. Everybody in the neighborhood was involved. Everybody. Under the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, right there in Irvington, right up the street in Irvington, New Jersey. There was on Hopkins Place, on Hopkins between Clinton Avenue, Springfield Avenue. Hopkins Place, I think that's Ellis Avenue. Ellis Avenue. There was a family in the basement. They had the breakfast program for us to go eat breakfast in the morning before we went to school, and even on the weekend. The black church back in the day was very actively involved in the black community. Bus rides, trips to parks, amusement parks, beaches. Very active. The church today, on every motherfucking corner. The most that they do, hand out food, which is cool. But do you know the people that I see standing in line to get this food, these vouchers, these what you would call it, I forget the proper name for it, but days where they have for you to come and get groceries, free groceries and stuff like that. The vast majority of the people that I see standing in this line, in these lines, in the area that I live in, are people with jobs. They not starving. They not going without. But they in line. So see, like I said, I'm just getting sick and tired of this shit. And I know some people say, well, brother, you know, you gotta let that go. It's not easy for me to just let that go. I hate deceitful and manipulative. I'm not gonna say I hate. I don't care for deceitful and manipulative type people. I don't care for people who use people to serve their own agenda. I'm going to come to you as your brother, but I'm really not trying to serve as you, brother. I'm really trying to serve my party. I'm really not concerned with your issues. The only concern I have with you is how can I get you to vote for my team? How can I get you over here on my side to put my team in office and keep my team in office and keep the other team out of office? That's the only concern I have concerning you. How can I get you over here? How can I use you? I got a problem with that. It's not easy for me to just let that shit go. It's not. I'm one of them people, you know, some things I take to heart. Oh man, I ain't gonna concern myself with that. I ain't gonna worry about that. You know, I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna get out here because life is short and ain't nobody got time for the bullshit. And, you know, I'm gonna get out here and, you know, I'm gonna live my best life. And the reality is, if you struggling to make ends meet, if you have to have a job, work someplace that you really don't like, if you living in debt, you're not living your best life. You cannot live in debt and live your best life at the same time. The only thing you could do is pretend that you are living your best life. If you really truly want to live your best life, you want freedom for yourself. True freedom. You want to go back to being an independent, self-sufficient, self-reliant people. Period. You don't want no oversight from anyone else. One of the definitions of freedom is to be free of limitations and restrictions placed upon you by others. You are not free. You are under the illusion of being free. It is what it is. And if you want to live the lie, go ahead, live the lie. Live the lie. Anyway, the message is going to reach to those it's intended to reach. Again, I repeat, part of the problem with us is we have a problem with the person who delivers the message. And the reason that we take issue with the person who delivered the message is because we really don't want the message. We just have to justify and rationalize rejecting the message. So in order to reject the message, we have to reject the messenger. We have to pick the messenger apart. We have to tear the messenger apart. We have to condemn them. We have to find all character defects and flaws and what's wrong with them and this, that, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, all in an effort to discredit and dismiss the truth that they present. Simply put. Simply put. Either you on our side or you on their side. If you on our side, you ain't concerned about white supremacists. You're not concerned about racism. You're not concerned about them shutting down departments of the Smithsonian Institute that display our story, because that's not our story. Our story is not slavery. That's a narrative. Our story, our true story, Trump knows who we are. And Trump also knows the truth about slavery. Al Sharpton knows the truth about slavery. Is he going to tell you? No. Jesse Jackson knows the truth about slavery. Is he going to tell you? No. Jasmine Crockett knows the truth about slavery. Cory Booker knows the truth about slavery. Hakeem Jeffries knows the truth about slavery. Maxine Waters know the truth about slavery. Many of your black pastors and preachers and reverends and bishops and apostles and prophets know the truth about slavery. Are they going to tell you? No. Why? Because it's not financially, economically beneficial to them. That's why. That's why. They're not going to tell you. These are co-conspirators. They are co-collaborators. They are agents of the system meant to deceive you, fool you, trick you, hoodwink you, and bamboozle you, in the words of Brother Malcolm. That's who these Negroes are. Again, I repeat, you will never hear Cory Booker stand up in the Senate or any other motherfucking building or street corner for that matter and run his mouth for 24, 25 hours in order for you to get reparations, in order for you to get an anti-black hate crimes bill, and in order for you to get a police accountability bill. You would never see that Negro or any other Negro with the black face pretending to be of your community do any of those things for you. You would never see them put themselves in harm's way and risk incarceration and arrest for you to receive what you are overdue to receive. You will never see any of these Negroes do it. You would never hear Obama do it. You would never hear Michelle Obama doing it. You would hear no black Democrat in a high position. You won't hear entertainers do it. Kanye West says something about some truth. What did they do? What did they do? Some of you overstand you can't speak truth to power if you're in certain places. Why? Because if you speak truth to power in certain places, the same people that gave you your wealth will take your wealth from you. The same people that gave you your status will take your status from you. The same people that put you in a position that you are in will take that position away from you. Period. Period. Instead of talking about Trump sending in troops or the National Guard into D.C., or the possibility of him sending the National Guard into Chicago in order to deal with the crime, let's ask ourselves a question. What did that Negro, the so-called greatest basketball player that has ever lived, Michael Jordan. What the fuck did that nigga do to improve the condition of the young brothers and sisters in the city of Chicago who went out to watch his game, bought his jerseys, and bought his sneakers? What did he do for him? Exactly. On that note, y'all have a blessed day, man.